As I navigated through the morning traffic to my office, my mind drifted back to the unsettling conversation my wife, Maria, had sparked over dinner the night before. It wasn't the first time she'd brought it up, but it was becoming more frequent, and I couldn't fathom why. She was curious about how many women I'd been with before we got serious, and if I ever thought about them during our intimate moments. My answer was a resounding no. Maria and I had been married for 5 years. Despite some flaws, our marriage was built on a strong foundation of trust, respect, love, intimacy, and companionship, everything essential for a healthy relationship. I believed Maria felt the same way, and we were enjoying a fantastic life with fulfilling careers, a charming house in a vibrant neighborhood, and enough financial stability and leisure time to enjoy vacations, fine dining, and entertainment. My name is John Walker, but my friends call me Jack. My wife is Maria. I am a 46-year-old, dark-haired, hazel-eyed guy with a blend of Scandinavian and Southern European heritage, which gives me a bit of a passionate streak that I learned to control through various life experiences. I stayed in good shape by playing volleyball and swimming throughout the year and lifting weights. I still jog, play in a beach volleyball league, and enjoy surfing. Maria naturally exuded allure with her sparkling eyes, flawless skin, and captivating smile. She had a talent for making people feel comfortable, getting them to open up about anything while being an excellent listener and non-judgmental. Though her friendliness sometimes bordered on flirting, she never crossed the line into inappropriate behavior. Maria attracted attention with her lively personality, an enviable figure, 5'10" tall, dark hair, hazel eyes, and an incredible physique, especially her legs and toned core. She stayed fit by attending dance classes 4 to 5 nights a week, which was her main hobby outside of work. I often joked about my urge to scoop her up whenever she walked by, and she didn't mind. Maria's personality was perfect for me, although she had one flaw that sometimes led to emotional discussions. Once she made up her mind about something, she wouldn't change it. She believed she was right, especially in non-scientific matters, making her quite stubborn on certain issues. Changing her mind was nearly impossible once she decided on something. We married right after college, having exclusively dated for the last 2 years of school. Maria didn't have many physical partners before marriage, unlike me. During my senior year of high school and the first 2 years of college, I had numerous partners. At 22, one of my first partners was an older divorced woman who taught me a lot about pleasing a woman. Thanks to her, I became adept at ensuring my partner's satisfaction before my own. I explained this to Maria when she asked how I knew how to please her so well. While grateful for my experience, she felt envious about missing out on different partners and physical experiences. Professionally, I work as an environmental engineer at Eco Solutions, designing and implementing sustainable systems for urban development. I enjoy the challenging yet fulfilling job, which also allows me time and money for hobbies. My latest project is restoring a 2015 Mercedes Sprinter van for week-long trips with Maria to places like the Pacific Northwest, the Rocky Mountains, and the Gulf Coast. Maria is a financial consultant working for a leading international consulting firm. Her job pays well, isn't too stressful, and involves some travel. Occasionally, she accompanies junior consultants on site visits to ensure thoroughness and proper training. Recently, she'd been traveling with James, a new employee starting his 3-year path to CFA certification. Maria once mentioned how attractive and charismatic James was after their first trip, but hadn't talked about him much since. As I spent more time finishing the van, I grew more excited about our upcoming trips. However, I noticed Maria wasn't as enthusiastic and seemed less lively and open in her communication with me. Our intimate life was still great, and a few times in the past weeks Maria came home late and passionately initiated intimacy. The last time her lingerie was already damp, indicating she was incredibly aroused by something. After one of our intense post-work sessions, I went down to start dinner while Maria jumped into the shower. I felt that things had been off lately and decided to talk to Maria about it over dinner. Meanwhile, Maria enjoyed the hot water but also felt a pang of guilt. She had been going to lunches, happy hours, and recently dinner and dancing with her co-worker James. Their conversations had become increasingly flirtatious, crossing the boundaries of what a married woman should allow. She was obsessed with this secret and the idea of intimacy with another man. Maria was very attracted to James and had decided last week to be intimate with him, believing it would help her move past the obsession and refocus on our marriage. Maria was well aware of my past flings and felt assured that I would stay loyal to her just as she would to me. Despite this, she was fixated on the idea of a weekend getaway with James and was mulling over how to broach the topic with me. Her feelings for me were deep, and she didn't want to inflict pain, but she believed that my love for her would help me understand and that we'd emerge from it even stronger. She hoped she wasn't deluding herself, but her decision was firm. Entering the kitchen, Maria saw the shrimp salads and cornbread I had prepared, alongside 2 glasses of wine. As she sat, I began, "Maria, there is something important we need to talk about, and I'm not sure where to begin." "Jack, just spill it. We can talk about anything." "I also need to discuss something with you, but you go first." "That sounds pretty ominous. How many marriages crumble with a 'we need to talk'?" "Don't be absurd, Jack. This isn't bad. It is something that will help me and ultimately benefit you as well. I am not sure how to say this, but something feels off between us. You haven't been as open and affectionate lately." "Jack, did you forget the incredible time we just had?" "Maria, I'm not talking about that. But since you brought it up, what made you so insanely aroused that you almost ripped my clothes off?" Maria's face clouded with worry and guilt. "If you don't appreciate me being that excited for you, then maybe the issue is yours, not mine. I see your defensive stance, Maria. I can sense your concern and guilt. Can't you see it? Just tell me what is really going on." "Should I be worried?" Maria looked down, struggling to find the right words. "Jack, I'm sorry that came out wrong. I need to explain what is happening, but please remember that I love you and our life together more than anything. What we have means the world to me. Maria, now I am really worried. Are you having an affair?" "Jack, how could you say that? You know I would never cheat on you. I respect you too much. But I need you to hear me out completely before reacting. When I am done, we can talk about it, okay? I love you, and only you. I want to have children and grow old with you. This might be tough to hear, but please listen. Do you remember James, my co-worker I traveled with? I've also been having lunch with him, going to happy hour, and even had dinner with him last week. What the hell, Maria? You said you weren't having an affair, but now you are admitting to one. I'm not having an affair, and I haven't cheated on you, but you promised to listen. Maybe I crossed the line by not telling you. I don't love him, but we've been flirting and sharing things with a hint of physical attraction. It felt harmless until he told me he wanted to be with me. He is 7 years younger, fit and attractive, and I found myself infatuated with him. I leapt up, furious. God damn it, Maria, are you planning to leave me? Do you love him? Are you sure you haven't already slept with him? And this is just a way to tell me?" Maria winced at her own words and how they were coming out. "Jack, no, I haven't slept with him or anyone else. That is actually part of the issue. But please listen, I love only you. James is just a kid. I could never fall in love with him. But you know that I had only a few physical experiences before meeting you, and I feel like I've missed out on some of the experiences you had before we were a couple. I feel like I didn't get to sow my wild oats before we fell in love. Now, knowing that this young man I am incredibly attracted to wants to be with me, I just can't seem to get it out of my mind. Today at work, James and I were flirting back and forth, and that is part of the reason I was so incredibly aroused when I got home and needed you to love me." My pulse quickened and my face flushed as I felt overwhelming sadness and shock. This was not what Maria had hoped for. She quickly tried to retract her last statement by saying, "Jack, I didn't say that right. I love you, and being intimate with you is so much more than just physical. It's the most fulfilling thing I have ever felt. But I can get this young man out of my head, and I have decided to have intimacy with him, to take this one-time opportunity to get my last physical experience with another man, before you and I decide to get more serious about kids, careers, etc. I feel like I deserve this, and I am asking you to let me have this. I've told you I would never cheat on you, and I respect you, and that is all true. That's why I am asking for you to let me have this, but I guess I'm also telling you I've made up my mind to do this." Maria was stunned to see me slump in my chair, tears filling my eyes and streaming down my cheeks. This wasn't how she envisioned it. It was supposed to be just physical, nothing more. She had to convince me. "Jack, I love only you. I want to be married to you and grow old with you. This is just a one-time thing to get it out of my system. I swear I'll make it up to you for the rest of our lives if you let me have this. I will never cheat on you, and that is why I'm asking for this one-time gift as proof of your love for me." I sprang up from the table, hurt and anger flashing in my eyes. "How could you equate my approval with proof of my love? That nonsense. Here's what I am hearing: you have already cheated on me. You have an emotional relationship with someone from work, shared closeness, details, and spent time together. It is already cheating. Are you sure you haven't slept with him already? How will you make it up? Is this something I should be worried about?" Jack asked, his voice filled with anxiety. "Andrew, let me handle Jack. He wanted to hurt anyone. He's not thrilled about it, but he'll come around. Yes, we are still on for Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it." After Andrew left, Maria texted Jack again. "Jack, are you okay? Please know that I only love you and want you. Our future together will be better and better." An hour later, I replied with heavy sarcasm, "Yeah, right." Maria felt a mix of frustration and sadness. She hated how immature I was acting, but also felt terrible seeing me in pain. She was convinced she could make it up to me with affection and attention, believing everything would soon be as good as before, if not better. On Wednesday, I called in sick, and after Maria left, returned to our house. I threw myself into working on the RV. I installed the solar panel, finished the electrical and Wi-Fi connections, replaced the toilet cassette, and filled the water tanks. I planned to complete the cabinetry on Thursday, making it road-ready. The work provided a distraction from my emotional turmoil. With a few hours before Maria's return, I researched divorce finances and counselors, preparing for any scenario. I made a list of my belongings and then headed to the bank. I canceled our joint credit card and opened one in my name. I also closed our joint checking account and opened a new one for myself. I prepaid the mortgage for 2 months using our joint account, then divided the remaining balance equally. Afterward, I went to a pub for a craft beer and burger, preparing myself for the upcoming conversation. Maria came home around 6:00 p.m. and noticed I wasn't there. Unsure if I had been home, she made a sandwich and thought about how to approach the conversation positively when I returned. As soon as I walked in, she ran up, kissed me, and hugged me tightly. "Jack, don't ever leave like that without letting me know you were okay. I know you were hurting, but I was so worried. I love you, only you. We are solid and always will be. You knew I was hurting, and you say you love only me? I wish that were true, Maria, but I doubt it now. A week ago, I couldn't believe you'd ask for what you want in an affair outside our marriage. It's inconceivable to me that you claim to love me and then ask for permission to cheat. Jack, don't you dare say I don't love you. It is not cheating if you approve, and it is just sex, just one time. Stop being so dramatic and immature. Maria, you want to talk about drama? I am looking at the woman I love trying to convince me that she loves me while asking to sleep with another man for a weekend and then go back to how we were. That will never happen. How would you feel if I slept with someone else and told you it was just sex? That is not fair, and you know it. Jack, you've had dozens of women and all kinds of experiences. I didn't have that chance. If you went out and had sex with someone, I'd kick you out and not know if I could forgive you. Why should it be different for me? Why shouldn't I kick you out? Why do you think I can forgive you? Maria, teary-eyed, pleaded, Jack, I couldn't live without you. I love you and want to be with you. Nonsense, Maria. You wouldn't be proposing this if you meant it. Have you already agreed to this? Did you talk to him today? Yes, I talked to him. This Saturday, he is picking me up, and I'll be back Sunday evening. On Monday, I'll be the hottest, most loving wife you could hope for. You already were that, but if you go through with this, you never will be again. Maria gasped, recoiling to the kitchen and sitting down, her voice and eyes pleading, Jack, please know I love you so much. Don't let this hurt our marriage. You are my husband, my lover, my best friend, the father of our future children. You are my everything. Maria, if that were true, you wouldn't consider doing this on Saturday. This conversation is going nowhere. If you go through with this, we are done. I'll be back Friday night. Let us spend that night together. Jack, Don to walk out on me again. We need to get through this. Please, Friday night I'll bring dinner around 7:00 p.m. What time is Andrew picking you up Saturday? I told him 11:00 a.m., but you don't have to leave. I want you to meet him. Jesus, Maria, if I see him, I'll kick the crap out of him. Why would I want to meet the guy who is trying to destroy our marriage? Think hard about this before Friday. Jack, no, wait, please don't leave like this. Tell me you are okay, that this one to hurt us. Maria, I'll never be okay with you sleeping with anyone but me. If you want to sleep with others, get a divorce. Your request today has already hurt us more than you realize. If you cancel this and promise to go to counseling with me, maybe we'll be okay. If not, we were finished. Tell me your answer Friday night and think hard about it. Jack, Dante give me ultimatums and Dante walk out. We will be all right, even better after this. Yeah, right, pigs are flying. Unbelievable, I said sarcastically as I walked out the door and turned off the voice recorder. I headed back to the Hilton, booking a room for Wednesday and Thursday night. I called my boss and explained I had a family emergency needing the rest of the week off. He reluctantly agreed without asking for details. Maria slumped over the table after I left. How could he be so stubborn, she thought. She was sure I would never leave her, but wondered if we had already damaged our relationship beyond repair. If so, would going ahead with her plan make it worse? She was obsessed with the idea of being with Andrew and decided to compromise by agreeing to marriage counseling while still seeing Andrew for the weekend. Maria dragged herself to bed, her mind in turmoil. Jack was her entire world, and she realized the immense pain and anger this situation was causing both of us. Did she really need to go through with this? Yet she felt trapped, having already committed to the plan. She thought Jack's arguments were unfair, considering he had numerous partners in the past. She had never had that opportunity. This was just a one-time fling, just for her. He needed to get over it. On Thursday, after Maria left for work, I returned home and began packing my belongings into the RV, making sure to take only what Maria wouldn't miss. I also went to a thrift store to donate clothes I no longer wore. I moved my tools, sports gear, and recreational items to my best friend Tom's place, along with a few pen and ink drawings my uncle had done that I knew Tom would appreciate. We sat down for a beer and I explained my situation. Tom looked at me in disbelief. Jack, you've got to be kidding. No way would Maria do that to you. Are you sure about this? Maybe something is wrong with her. I'm not sure of anything. My entire world has been turned upside down in a week, and it's like Maria is a different person. The love I have for her weakens with every excuse she makes for why this will be good for our marriage. She has lost it. Can't you forgive and forget? Get some counseling and move on? Hell no. I've told her we can do that if she doesn't sleep with the guy, but if she does, there's no way back. I've tried talking her out of it. Now I'm going to see if I can give her so much satisfaction Friday night that she'll reconsider. It is my last chance. Good luck, man. Let me know if I can do anything to help. I mean, not with the satisfaction part, but to ease your pain. I hate to see you guys hurting. You were my role model for a strong, healthy marriage. Well, I guess both our illusions have been shattered. I never saw this coming. I am doing everything I can not to go beat the crap out of the guy. If it comes to that, let me know. I'll help with the payback. Okay, I'll think about it. Take care, bud. I'm getting a new phone and number, and I'll text it to you later. Brother, keep calm and hang in there. I went to the phone store, got a new phone and number, and changed our current plan to Maria's name only. Then I took the RV for a test run and was pleased with the results. I finished the cabinetry, got new license tags and insurance, and was ready to go. I cleared my personal emails and documents from our home computer, essentially erasing my past life. I composed an email to family, friends, and coworkers explaining Maria's actions and my response. If I could talk her out of this, I would explain she chose to have an affair despite my objections and knowing it would end our marriage. I prayed I wouldn't have to send it, but I wanted everyone to understand what happened. I also attached the voice recording from the other evening. On Friday, I consulted a divorce lawyer who said that with our comparable incomes and no kids, It would be a 50-50 split of assets. The only uncertainty was whether she would get half of my 401k, which had over 200,000. She had a defined pension plan complicating the division. I decided I would withdraw the money, taking a 40 tax hit rather than lose half to a cheating wife. I planned to wait until after the weekend, hoping to persuade Maria to reconsider. As Friday approached, I felt our future and my love for her were in her hands, and I prayed she would make the right choice. I bought shrimp, swordfish, and a Caesar salad, started the grill, put white wine on ice, mixed gin and tonics, and waited for Maria to come home. She was thrilled to see me cooking. "Thank God you came home, Jack. I missed you so much. Promise me you want to leave like that again. You love me, I love you, we need to be together." I took her into my arms and gave her a long, tender kiss. "Maria, why don't you take a shower and put on something special? Bring a GT with you when you come back down. I'll grill the food and we'll enjoy dinner. It might be our last, but tonight, let us celebrate our marriage." "Jack, stop talking like that. You are upsetting me by questioning our marriage. I am getting annoyed. I've told you repeatedly that I love only you. This isn't tea about you. It is something I need to get out of my system. Maria, we've discussed this enough. Let's drop it for now. Enjoy your GT, shower, and we can have a nice dinner and a pleasant evening. Okay, but stay with me tonight. Don't leave me worrying. I'll be back in something that shows you how much I appreciate you." Maria went upstairs to shower. When she came back down, I gasped. She wore a French maid outfit with a little white cap, a tight white blouse showing her assets and midriff, black thigh-high silk stockings, a short skirt, and 4-inch heels. "My God, Maria, you look incredibly hot. I want you to see a preview of the next few weeks. I bought other outfits you'll love just as much. Now let's grill the food. I am hungry, but I really want to get to dessert," she winked. We hurried through dinner, finishing the GTs and most of the first bottle of wine. I couldn't wait any longer. I carried Maria upstairs, laying her gently on the bed. She reached for my belt and zipper, but I stopped her. "Tonight is about you, Maria. I'm going to worship your body and make this night unforgettable so you realize how special we are together and why we should be committed to only each other. We are committed, Jack, and that won't change. Please, just love me tonight. Let's move past the stress of the last few days and renew our bond." We made love that night, and when we were done, she was completely satisfied and soon drifted off to sleep. Maria woke up at 8:30 a.m., knowing it was time to get ready. James would pick her up at 11:00. She felt a mix of guilt, anxiety, and desire. After last night's intimacy, she briefly questioned her actions. How could anything be better? But she felt trapped by her commitment and decided to follow through. She heard me in the kitchen and smelled bacon, eggs, and coffee. Putting on her robe, she came down to see me. "Jack, last night was amazing. That's what I see for our future. I love you so much." "Thank you." I didn't respond but finished the eggs and asked if she wanted any. "I'd better not eat now, Jack, thanks. James and I are going out for brunch at 11:00. I need to shower and get ready. Please stay so we can say goodbye properly." "Maria, I won't beg you any more. I'll just ask one last time, are you sure you want to be with another man who isn't your husband?" "Jack, stop. It's just one-time sex. It doesn't change my love for you." I looked at her with pain and sorrow and shook my head. "I won't leave until I tell you goodbye." Maria flinched at my words, sensing a finality that made her shudder. "Jack, I love you, and this will be okay. You will see. I just need to get this out of my system. We'll be stronger after." "Yeah, right, Maria. It's incredibly sad you believe that." She flushed, tears forming as she ran to the bathroom. Why couldn't he just let her have this fling and move on? "My God," she thought, "this has changed Jack. I'll have to work hard to ease his pain. He loves me so much and always gives me what I need. This will be no different." She showered, applied makeup, and wore a sexy but tasteful dress, thigh-high stockings and heels. When she came down with her weekend bag at 10:30, it felt like a dagger in my heart seeing her dressed for another man. "Jack, you are okay, right? You know I love you, don't you? And you love me. Didn't last night show how we can get past this and how great our life will be? Maria, I wanted last night to be special for us. It was a celebration of our marriage, and I wanted it to be a memory we could cherish forever. Jack, Dante say our last night together. That S.E. cruel. You're making me feel guilty for one meaningless weekend of sex. I need to get it out of my system. Of course, we'll be together and better than ever. She moved to kiss and hug me, but I turned away. Maria, our night is over. You chose a weekend of meaningless sex over your husband. These kisses don't matter anymore. Jack, stop it. It's not like that. This is one and done, and I deserve it. You have a history with many women to fantasize about, and I have nothing. I need this to get it out of my system. It isn't a love and doesn't affect our relationship or my love for you. Yes, Maria, this is one and done. Before she could respond, a car honked outside. Jack, stop the drama. I'll be back Sunday night, and you will still be my only love and life partner. The horn honked again, and Maria asked, should I introduce James so you see he's just a kid I am attracted to, not a threat? I looked at her with pain and anger and said, Donda, let him in, or I'll break his nose, jaw, and crush him. I'll enjoy his screams. Maria shrunk back, shocked by my anger. Please, Jack, let me have this one and done, and I'll be back to love you forever. She picked up her bag, walked to the door, and turned to smile. But seeing my pain, she blew a kiss and said, Jack, Sunday night and beyond, I'll be the best wife and partner. I love you. Goodbye. Maria hesitated briefly before walking out the door. I sat down in a kitchen chair and cried, feeling I had done everything possible to prevent this marriage-ending affair. Maria seemed to be in her own world, justifying that this was necessary for her and beneficial for us. After half an hour of crying, I got up and began moving my belongings to the RV. In the bedroom, I noticed Maria had left her wedding rings in a bowl on her dresser. I put them in my pocket as my sorrow turned to growing anger. 2 hours later, I had packed all my important items. The paintings, sketches, and sculptures my uncle left me were carefully wrapped, boxed, and placed under the RV's queen-size bed. My clothes didn't all fit, so I quickly sorted through them. I tossed the discarded items into the garage trash, anger and sorrow boiling inside me as I wandered through the house. I stumbled upon our wedding album, filled with 40 photos from our wedding 5 years ago. What once brought joy and peace now only deepened my agony. I ran to the garage, grabbed a box cutter, and furiously slashed an X through several photos, cutting out the triangles with our faces and throwing them into the fireplace. I went to the desk and wrote my final letter to Maria, tears blotting the paper. I placed the letter and a check for her half of our joint accounts into an envelope and wrote her name on it. Setting the photo album and the letter on the kitchen table, I removed my wedding ring and placed it on top. I scheduled an email to all our friends, relatives, and contacts for Monday at 9:00 a.m., knowing I'd be long gone by then. I walked out, got into my RV, and drove away from my old life. It was now Saturday afternoon, and Maria and James had enjoyed brunch and checked into the hotel he had booked for the weekend. They undressed slowly, Maria feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness at seeing another man naked and aroused. He led her to the bed, kissed her a few times, and then tried to go straight to intercourse. She told him, "Relax, James, take your time. We have all day today and tomorrow to enjoy this. How about you warm me up first?" "Maria, I don't do that. I find it kind of gross." "Here, let me get you ready," he replied, then clumsily jammed his fingers into her for a few minutes. Though it wasn't pleasant or arousing for her, he quickly moved into the missionary position. He grunted through about 2 minutes and then yelled, "I am going to finish. Do it with me, Maria." With that, he was done. He rolled off and laid back on the bed. Maria lay there in disbelief. She wasn't even close to finishing and was barely aroused. James jumped up and ran to the bathroom, saying he needed to clean himself up and would bring her a washcloth. She turned away from the bathroom, wondering what she was doing and what she had done to cause Jack so much pain for something that was turning out to be more meaningless than she had thought. She grabbed her cell phone from the bedside table and quickly composed a text to Jack. "Jack, my love, please know that I love only you. Please tell me that you are okay and that you love me too. I can wait until I see you again." James came back, and being young, he was ready to go again. They had sex 3 times that afternoon, and although she finally climaxed the 3rd time, it was through her own effort. They got up, dressed, and went out to dinner. Dinner was awkward, filled with forced conversation and no real connection between them. The magic she thought she felt before was gone. They danced after dinner, but it felt like dancing with a stranger. The physical attraction she convinced herself was strong had vanished. Although James wanted to return to the room quickly, she kept ordering drinks, delaying their return until they were both very drunk and had trouble getting back to the room. When they got there, she quickly stripped off her clothes, collapsed onto the bed, turned away from James and went to sleep. In the morning, she woke up with a hangover and could feel James snoring beside her. Deciding the damage was already done, she gave it one more try to see if she could have any memorable sex with the young man. She tried to give James a morning BJ, determined to turn him on enough to do something exciting in bed. James woke up enjoying it and, without warning, finished. Moving up to him, she said, "How did you like that, baby?" She moved in to kiss him, but he said, "Oh, gross. I'm not kissing that mouth. Can you please clean up, brush, and then come back to bed?" She grabbed her phone in disgust, went into the bathroom and locked the door. She got in the shower, washing herself as if trying to scrub off a plague, then dried off and sat down on the toilet. She checked her phone and saw that Jack had not responded to her texts. She tried calling him, but it went straight to voicemail. She sent him another text. "Jack, I love you. Are you okay? Please tell me you are okay and we can get past this. This has turned into a meaningless and miserable mistake, and I know I want only you forever. I'll be home as soon as I can to hug you and tell you how much I love you. Please let me know you are okay." She convinced James to go down for breakfast, and as they were finishing, she said, "James, this was a mistake for me. I only love my husband, and this weekend with you has shown me that no one can compare with him. I am going to go up to the room, pack my bag, and leave now. I'll get a cab. I don't want to see you again for lunch, happy hour, or dinner, and I'd appreciate it if we could avoid each other at work. I am sorry, but this was just a major mistake." "Well, screw you, witch. You are the one who wanted this so badly and talked me into it. Go ahead and run back to your husband and try to forget how great the sex with me was. There are plenty of women better looking than you who would love to be with me," James retorted. "You're just a kid, and you have no idea how to satisfy a woman." "Snap out of your delusion," Maria retorted sharply. She quickly went to the room, packed her belongings, and left. Maria hailed a cab and got home around 3:00 p.m. on Sunday. The first thing she noticed was that the large RV that had occupied half of the driveway was gone. Wow. I guess Jack finally finished that project and decided to take it for a spin. I wish I could have been here for the maiden voyage, she thought, feeling both surprised and disappointed that he hadn't waited for her. As she stepped into the house, she sensed something was amiss. The first change she observed was the missing oil painting of the waves crashing onto Moonlight Bay in Encinitas, painted by Jack's uncle, which used to hang above the fireplace. She scanned the room and saw that many of his other drawings and paintings were gone, along with the bison sculptures his uncle had made that once adorned the mantel. "Oh no, Jack, what have you done?" she whispered. "I am home," she shouted into the empty house, even though she knew no one was there. She pulled out her phone and saw that Jack still hadn't responded to any of her texts. She called his phone, and when the automated Verizon message responded, "This cell phone number is no longer in service," she let out a scream and collapsed to the floor. "Oh God, no! What have I done? Oh, Jack, how could you do this? How could you leave me like this?" She got up, trying to control the flood of tears and gasps, and moved quickly to the kitchen. She fell to her knees again when she saw his wedding ring on top of a letter lying on their wedding album. She sank into a chair, picked up the ring and stared at it, unable to process what was happening and what it all meant. She tore open the letter and began to wail as she attempted to read through her tears. "Maria, as you can guess, this is my final goodbye. Maybe I'm a coward, but I couldn't face you after you abandoned me and our marriage. I found your wedding rings in the bowl on your dresser, perfectly symbolizing how you discarded our relationship. You knew that wearing the ring would mean acknowledging your betrayal, ruining your idea of a free pass for the weekend. I think you believed without a doubt that you could sleep with someone else and return to me thinking our marriage would remain unchanged. I don't know how you could think it was okay to break our vows, humiliate and disrespect me, and consider it just a harmless weekend fling. But the reality is, it meant everything. It showed me that your love for me, if it existed, was nowhere near my love for you. It was far from what I deserved and what I naively believed I had. You hurt me more than anyone ever has. You took my love, ripped it out of my chest, and stomped on it. You cheated the moment you started flirting with your lover. You sealed it with kisses at happy hours and dinners, thinking it was okay. And you delivered the final blow by assuming I would be fine with you having an affair. How could you think you deserved it and that if I loved you, I would accept it? I did everything to pull you back, but you ignored me. I told you our love, marriage, and friendship could never be the same. But you called me immature and dramatic. I suggested counseling to save our marriage if you stopped the fling before it happened. But you dismissed me. I warned that our last night of lovemaking would be the last time we were together if you went through with the affair. But you ignored me, assuming I would be there for you no matter what. I don't understand how you could think I would be okay with this. It's like you didn't know me at all. And evidently, I didn't know you because I trusted you and never thought you could destroy me like this. I could have physically stopped you, but I knew that would lead to resentment and a slow end of the marriage. You were kidding yourself thinking it was a one-time thing. If the sex was bad, you would seek another fling to get it out of your system. If it was good, you would crave it again. You likely wouldn't have told me about future infidelities after seeing what we are going through now, but I knew they would come. I guess we'll never know. I can be in a relationship without trust, and mine in you is completely shattered. I couldn't love you again, wondering if you were thinking of someone else. When you walked out the door, you took all the love, respect, trust, and friendship you claimed to have for me and washed it away. I can forgive you, trust you again, or even be friends. I have to cut you out of my life just like you cut my love out of my heart. A few practical things: I have divided our assets and paid the mortgage for the next 2 months. Your 50 of our joint accounts is enclosed in this envelope. Our Verizon joint account is canceled as of Monday. You will need to get your own. I have canceled our insurance and joint credit cards. I have removed my name from the mortgage and written a quit-claim deed to you. The house is yours to sell or live in, I don't care. It's not my home anymore, and I'll never be back. I sold my car and left in the RV. Sometime down the road, I will pawn your wedding rings for gas money so they'll serve some purpose. In my anger and pain, I did a couple of things. I took a box cutter to the wedding album, and you'll find some pieces in the fireplace. Go ahead and burn them. It is a fitting cremation of our marriage. I've also sent an email to our friends, relatives, co-workers, and contacts about your decision to cheat and my decision to leave. You have a day or two to prepare your story, but maybe you can start by taking responsibility. The good news for you is you now have my permission to sleep with whomever you want without hiding it. Goodbye forever, Jack, with whoever you want. Please, for the sake of others, avoid married men since you've already caused enough damage. Go and find whatever you thought you needed that made you throw us away. You can divorce me, sell the house, move on, do whatever you wish. I don't care, and it's up to you now. Should I ever find a woman who truly loves me, then I'll worry about the divorce. I've quit my job, liquidated my 401k, and my only plan is to never see you again and take a left turn out of the driveway. Beyond that, I'll carve out a new life and erase every memory of you. Farewell, Jack. Maria had to read the letter multiple times to grasp the reality of it. Jack's tear stains were visible on the paper. She got up, saw the wreckage of their wedding album, and barely made it to the sink before vomiting and nearly passing out. My God, what have I done? How could I have been so selfish and foolish? How could I destroy the only man I'll ever truly love? I had everything and threw it away for the worst, most pathetic encounter with a jerk who just wanted to get into my pants and had no idea what to do when he did. Maria crawled to the couch in the living room, curled into a fetal position, and cried herself to sleep. She couldn't believe she had been so stubborn and obsessed with her desire for a new partner that she ignored all of Jack's warnings and ultimatums. She had ruined her life in a matter of weeks, and now knew she would pay the price for her betrayal forever. Jack drove to the banks of the Mississippi River and decided to follow it from Minneapolis-St. Paul down to New Orleans. Once there, he would decide whether to turn left or right. The long hours of driving were filled with thoughts of Maria and whether he was making the right decision, but he resolved not to make any choices for weeks. He couldn't even imagine being friends with her, much less partners. However, if his anger subsided and it became more important to be with her than without her, he might open a dialogue, but he gave it less than a 25% chance of happening, and it would be a long road back. Maria had to face the humiliation and agony of explaining her foolishness and the reasoning behind her affair to her parents, relatives, and friends. She could tell none of them understood her rationale or supported her. She now couldn't comprehend her own reasoning either, much less explain it. She had to admit how terribly she misled herself into thinking the fling wouldn't affect them. She had to explain how she didn't realize until now how it would destroy her marriage and her only love. She had to take responsibility for being incredibly selfish and foolish about the importance of her fidelity to both Jack and herself. She saw how she had lost her family's and friends' respect and how they began to distance themselves from her. Maria called Jack's best friend, Tom, every week, begging for Jack's location, his phone number, or any information about him. She pleaded with Tom to tell Jack that she loved him, had finally understood and taken responsibility for her actions, and would do anything to get him to talk to her again. Tell him I love him, I miss him, I messed up badly, and I truly understand that now. I'll do anything to fix this if he gives me a chance. I'll never divorce him. I'm committed to our marriage vows and one tea date or have any male relationships while we still married. She waited every week, hoping for a call or response, but it never came. She stopped socializing, led a lonely life at work and home, and prayed that something would eventually bring Jack back to her. She remained faithful to their marriage, waiting for him. About a month after Maria's affair, James's doorbell rang. When he answered, a man in a ski mask with a police baton quickly struck him twice in the head and neck, causing him to collapse. Then he kicked him several times in the groin. As James lay in pain, the attacker told him to never mess with married women and then walked away. As time passed, both Maria and Jack reflected on what had happened, and neither could understand how she thought it would be okay. 3 years later, Maria was still waiting for Jack, but he never returned. One morning, as Maria was about to leave for work, a man approached and asked her name. Once Maria confirmed, he handed her an envelope. "You have been served." Maria did not cry or react, she just stood there. She let out a small smile and said, "All the best, Jack. I hope you have a wonderful life."